Hey guys, it's me. Thought I'd do like a special video because I just got the original 6 platinum like 2 seconds ago. And if you don't believe me, see? And then platinum right there. See? Right there. But, I thought I'd do that because Resident 6 was my 50th platinum, and RE5 was my first platinum, and then my ID is called Resident Evil 657, so I guess it's kind of special for me. Also, besides wanting to show off my 50th platinum, I wanted to talk about Resident 6 in general, because I've put like, let's see how many hours I've put in this game. I've put like about 83 hours. Yup, 83 and a half hours basically. So, although I only have 31% complete, that's probably because you got to beat it on all the, beat on every difficulty, and get all the medals, etc. I don't know if I'll do that, but since I basically got all S's on my all S's on my professional run, besides like probably 5 levels, I basically killed RE6. But another reason why I wanted to besides just show off my 50th platinum, because it's kind of special to me, I wanted to talk to Resident 6 in general, and how it's getting like all this mixed conception, and like all these mixed reviews, and like how part of the people think it's a bad game, and half the people think it's a good game. I wanted to talk about that too. I honestly think Resident 6 is a great game. Sure, it's not like classic Resident Evil. Like, if you play this, then you play like Resident Evil 2 for me, because Resident Evil 2 is my first Resident Evil game and my favorite. It always will be. If you play Resident Evil 6 and like play Resident Evil 2, they play completely differently. But most people don't understand that Resident Evil 6 went in a whole new direction. Okay, let's say after Resident Evil 4 came out, Resident Evil, the whole, like, the franchise and everything, went in a different direction. Probably because the guy, I can't say his name, but the main guy that used to do all the old school Resident Evils, like 1, 2, and 3, the remake and all other ones, he left Capcom and he's making this new survival horror game called Zools or something. But maybe if he was still at Capcom, and then, like, some of the people that worked on the original Resident Evils, like 1, 2, and 3 and stuff, maybe Resident Evil would still be classic Resident Evil. Because this isn't survival horror, really. Because, like, I mean, the closest you'll get to survival horror is Leon's campaign. Like, that's the closest you'll get to how it actually felt like in the old school Resident Evil games. But to me, that isn't survival horror. It's more like action survival horror, if that makes sense. I don't know, it's just like the old Resident Evil games had, a different feeling compared to the, RE6. But I will say this, in my opinion, Resident Evil 6 is probably the best modern Resident Evil game, like compared to 4, 5, and 6. 6 to me is probably the best one, although for most people it's probably 4, because Resident Evil 4 is a modern one, but it has the classic Resident Evil atmosphere. But to me, I would say 4 and 6 are probably the best modern Resident Evil games. 5, because when I heard that they're gonna change Resident Evil, like how it's all modern now in RE4, I didn't like it either. I flipped out. It's like, well, what are they doing with my Resident Evil? And then, I hated it at first. I absolutely hated it 5, I liked it. You know, it was good action. It was a good action third-person shooter game like RE5, but it wasn't Resident Evil. Now I've come to a realization that Resident Evil's taken a different turn, like, you know, the modern Resident Evil, and I've accepted it and moved, you know, evolved with the series. Because I understand that Resident Evil has to evolve to you know, to succeed or whatever. It's kind of funny though, before when like old Resident Evil was here, like 1, 2, and 3 and stuff, people wanted more action and stuff. Now with the old, like the new modern ones, like 4 through 6, everybody wants survival horror back. Probably because back in the 90s, survival horror like flooded the markets. Then like nowadays, it's all action games, so you want something different. Now it's like the complete opposite, which is kind of funny. But I've accepted that Resident Evil went through, you know, a different direction. Capcom even said that they're making Resident Evil in like a more action game because they think survival horror is dead. They've actually said that. I've read that somewhere. I don't know where. But they actually said that survival horror is dead, and they say it's, you know, it's better to make action games because of Call of Duty and stuff. Because, you know, look how popular Call of Duty is. But RE6 basically tries to please everybody. Like, Leon's supposed to be like classic Resident Evil, like a nod to it. Chris is supposed to be like a way more intense version of RE5. Jake's is supposed to be like in between Leon's and Chris's. Or yeah, Leon's and Chris's campaign, so it's like a little bit of both. Like, so they try to please everybody, but I can see why people say, like, as a survival horror game, this falls flat on its face. But I still think Resident Evil 6 will revolutionize Resident Evil, like, you know, for the modern ones. Like, because to me, RE6 feels more like a Resident Evil game than RE5 ever did. I mean, I guess once you, like, see the story mode and stuff, I guess it kind of has the same plot, but I don't know, it just feels more Resident Evil than Resident Evil 5 did. I mean, sure, Chris's campaign is like all third-person shooter Gears of War, but that was like my favorite campaign, mainly because it's Chapter 5, because it's so epic. But still, and then Leon's was freaking sweet with all how like the whole first chapter was like a nod to Resident Evil 2, which was awesome. And then, you know, Jake's is like in between. But I can see why people like either put it simply, Resident Evil 6 is like a love it or hate it kind of game. I love it. I've accepted that Resident Evil went into a new direction, and I've come along with the ride, and I understand that it needs to evolve, but it also needs to remember the old RE fans, like, that's been through the beginning it's been with RE since the beginning, like I have, because I've been with it since like 2, but I've played like every Resident Evil, but that's basically why they made Leon's campaign, so they could pay respect to the old school Resident Evil games. But if you guys didn't know this, Capcom will totally remake Resident Evil 2 if they get like enough fan support. And by remake, I hope they mean like Resident Evil 1 for the GameCube. If they like make it like Resident Evil 6, I'll be able to be mad, but I'm pretty sure they're just gonna remake it like RE1. But so that's another positive thing you can guys, you know, because they haven't forgotten, because they're gonna remake RE2 if fans give it enough support, which I absolutely love, because RE2 is my favorite Resident Evil game of all time. But I can see why people hate this and why people love this. Basically, the people that love this is people that usually started with the series with 4, and people that hate it are the ones that have been there since the beginning. But I've been there basically since the beginning, and I've accepted that Resident Evil is like, it went into a new direction because the guy that made Resident Evil left the company, and all the old staff are not really there anymore, so they wanted to make it more action because they think survival horror is dead. I understand that, but now it's like completely opposite. I think Downpour and like Silent Hill Downpour, and that was excellent. Excellent game. Sure it has its bugs, but it's still a really good game. So does Resident Evil 6 has its bugs too. Like the AI can be kind of hit and miss, but it's still a step up from, like, you know, from the RE5 AI, and the camera can get in the way sometimes, and then like the online mode, like agent hunt mode it's a really cool concept, because agent hunt mode is basically where you can basically go into a person's game and try to kill them and be a monster. You can be a monster and try to kill them. Problem is, though, you can't choose what monster you want to be. You can't choose what campaign you want to be. The controls are really awkward and weird, and they basically just need to polish it more. It's like fun for the first 20 minutes, and then it's boring. That was a cool concept, but they could have really polished it. And then they got, the classic mercenaries. Everybody knows what mercenaries is. It's been in Resident Evil since 3. And, I thought the stories were really good, too. Leon's and Chris's and Ada's were probably my favorite stories. Leon, Chris's, and Ada's. Jake's, I've actually liked more now since I've played with more and more friends. Like, I played, like, Jake's campaign like 2 or 3 times with other people. And, I've actually appreciated it more. But no, I really like the story. The stories are really good. Like, this one guy says, RE6 is like a big Michael Bay movie, because it's all action-packed. You know what's going to happen. It gets crazy, and you get your money's worth with this game. I put 83 hours into this game, so you get your money's worth for this game. I mean, if you could think of this game just like a fun, maybe action adventure movie that's co-op, you'd probably love this game. Maybe if you think of it like a Resident Evil game, like classic Resident Evil, like, oh, I'm gonna think this is like Resident Evil 2, and then it doesn't play like Resident Evil 2 and you hate it, that's your own fault. Because you gotta accept that Resident Evil's evolved into, it's different now. I can understand why people hate it, but you just gotta, like, accept the fact and then either come in the back or join the ride or just play the old Resident Evil games. I'm not trying to be harsh, it's just like, I just really hate all the hate that our RE6 is getting and stuff. But I absolutely love Resident Evil. I've played this for like 83 hours and never gotten bored of it. But yeah, like I said, I've accepted the fact that that Resident Evil isn't survival horror, how it falls flat in his face like 6 is. But I accepted the fact that it's like evolving and move on. I do wish that maybe someday Resident Evil will like go back to its roots, like 1 and 2 and 3, but I don't really think that will happen. And if it does, then that'll be the best day ever. But we got the if fans gonna give it enough support, we'll get Resident Evil 2 for the remake. But overall, if I'd like probably rate this game, I'd probably give it maybe like a 7.5 for single player, because it does get kind of boring for single player. This game shines for co-op. Like if you play this game co-op, it goes to like an 8 or 9. It's so much fun co-op. So much fun co-op. But I just wanted to. I might do a part 2, but I need to help with a friend with professional and help him get a platinum. But I just wanted to talk about Resident Evil 6 for a little bit. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. And sorry if I made people so mad and stuff like that, but it's just how I feel about it. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.